Good morning and welcome back to Home Renovation Expert Steve here on this 5x3 beautiful garden room build. Coming along very nicely. I'm liking the windows, particularly bespoke beyond belief they are. So yesterday got the fascia soffit all in and done, worked out with my spacing for my lights, which is quite cool. Run some cables ready, so this is going to be the main feed for the internal lights, one for the canopy lights, and the third one is for the wall mounted lights going here, and two around the corner as well. So the plan of attack for today is, I have a plan. Attack. What film is that from? Roof. So I'm going to get that all glued down now because the other final bits and pieces have turned up, so I can now get that done and dusted. So I'm going to give it 20 minutes, see what the weather's doing, and then I should jump up there and get it all glued down, which means hopefully all the EDPM will be glued down and fit. Hopefully that's all the trims on, and if any chance I get all the final bits and pieces for the fascia and soffit, all the little trims and stuff like that, all done. So that is that done and dusted and happy days. Then depending on what the time is and what's going on, run around, put some batten on the outside. So pile of batten there. So that would just be to carry the sheets, metal sheeting that goes around the sides and the backs and the other side, and then possibly get a chance to get it on the front ready for the Western Red Cedar as well. But we'll see how time does. I don't want to say I'm going to do all this stuff and then run out of time. But that is my plan. So right, I'm going to give it 20 minutes, like I say, have a cup of tea, sort of a few bits and pieces out inside, and then I'm going to jump up on the roof and get that going. Right, rubber roofing. How do you stick it on? It's not too difficult actually. So first thing you want to do is get it out, lay it across your deck, give it at least like an hour just to kind of settle and kind of get some creases out. This has been laying down for a couple of days now, so this one's fine. All this stuff, don't worry about it. It makes no difference, that's just the way it is. And that's the way it is. Good tune. So what I'll do is I'll roll this back to the centre. So this is actually rolling it on itself. Roll it back, and then we'll get the adhesive out, and I'll do a little bit from here, go about 1 metre, unroll it onto that, push it out with a brush, get the brush mark air bubbles out of it, roll the next metre, roll it out a bit further, so on and so forth. What I will also do is I will not glue with the water-based stuff 100mm all the way around the edges. Okay, it's just to do with manufacturer's stuff. Like they give you a special spray one, like a contact adhesive for that. So some people just put the water-based stuff everywhere, and that's fine because they're right. It gets held down by the side trim anyway. And to be honest, I don't quite see the point in the contact adhesive, but if the manufacturer says to do it, you're up here, why not just do it? Done. It does add a bit of extra time, maybe an extra 20 minutes or so, but it's no big, is it, in the big scheme of things. So I'll get that done. I'll get me all the stuff up here, and I'll show you it all rolled up and getting rolled on. Right, Dokie, you can now see, look at that, rolled up halfway across the back of the deck. I can't admit you can do this bit, sounds silly, but it'll just unroll a bit easier. So, what have we got? So we've got this lovely water-based adhesive. Now, I get on my roofs from Perma. They're bloody brilliant, fantastic service and great delivery times. So you basically get with it in the kit everything you need. So this comes with their Perma Roof deck adhesive, basically just water-based like glue. Like I say, what I'm going to do is roll about 1 metre, give or take. Keep it about 100mm away from the edge, all the way through. And then as I kind of roll 1 metre, unroll it, use my brush, just get rid of the air bubbles. But I shall show you, because sometimes you might be like me, and I learn by seeing and then by doing. Monkey see, monkey do. So, there you go. You can be quite liberal. I mean, this 5-litre tub will easily do this roof, so you haven't got a skin. Get rid of the skin that were on the surface of the stuff. Get rid of it. Lovely. I don't want it. So like that. So like I say, keep it about 100-ish mil, give or take, away from the edge. Rolling, rolling, rolling. See, give it a sing-song as I'm doing it. Make sure you work it into all the little grooves. And what this will do is this will bond this top, the old EDPM, to this lovely deck beautifully. And like I say, the contact adhesive, which is in spray format, just finish off those edges, just make sure it will never lift. And like, I get what people are saying, it will never lift anyway, because basically it's got a trim on top of it, actually keeps it pinned in, and that's nailed into place, so it's not going anywhere. But like I say, if the manufacturer wants it, it gets it. Just work your way down the line. The rule of thumb here is don't make it wider than you can step, really, because you can kind of go nuts and just roll the whole lot, but then it'll be a bit of a bugger. And plus, depending on your ambient air temperature, it can dry quite quick as well. It's like it's not hot this morning, it's not cold, it's just a slight breeze, so I've got plenty of working time. Like that. So this paint pisses anything. I don't think it's ever going to cover. Great joke, don't worry. Keep it about 100mm back. Like that. Get out of the way for a second. And now you can see I would step over. Perfect amount. And literally, you just roll this bad boy onto it. Like that. Just work the line as you go. Making sure it's kind of going on there quite flush. There's no kinks in it as you're unrolling it. Also, try not to lose your ladder, because you might need that to get back down again in a bit. There you go. But make sure you can still see the edge of your glue, just so you know you're definitely not going to have any dead spots of it. And literally, get your broom and then just give it a bit of that in it. You don't push too hard, you don't stretch it, but just hard enough that you know you're making it all get contact with the glue and removing, like I say, any air bubbles. Because as you do this, you can actually see it moving everything around. Quite satisfying, eh? Easiest form of wallpaper ever. Yeah. Beautiful. I'll do that again until I get to the end. Like I say, leaving 100mm off of that edge as well. Once I've done that, I'll then unfurl this side, glue it again, like I say, leaving 100mm around the edge, and then I'll show me doing a contact adhesive. Right, so that's all glued down now and looking beautiful. So now you can see, hold it back, so I've got that 100mm now exposed. Bonding adhesive. Like I say, it comes part of the kit if you go for the kit version off a Perma roof, so they give you all the trims, all the EDPM, the glues, adhesive, all those bits and pieces. And then all you need to do, give it a bit of a shake. Now I'm normally right-handed, but I think I could just about manage this. And literally, give it a spray across, like that. And then what you do as well, make sure you get under that joint, right in that corner, and you spray where you know the adhesive's going to be making contact. And just do that all the way along. Get into that gap there. And what it's to do is, once it actually goes a bit tacky, it will stick to itself like a mother trucker. This is a bit harder, one hand, the wrong direction, but no excuses, still getting it done. So like that, all the way across. Do that all the way, and then what you do is leave it for like 5, sort of 10 minutes, give or take, till it kind of tacks off a bit. So you don't want to do it now, you've got to let it sort of cure a little, and then where did I put it? And then all you got to do is grab one of these bad boys. Again, when you're doing it, if you ask for a fixing kit, they'll give you like little rolls and stuff like that. And once that's like flopped back over, use that little roller just to sort of get a good bonded between the two surfaces. And that is the roof glued, done and dusted, which will be very tasty. And then this thing is 100% waterproof now, which would be brilliant. So then I'll be getting the trims on, the roof trims, gut trims, all that sort of stuff. So I'll show you that as well as I go. But in the meantime, I better spray the rest of this, because otherwise it'll be dry at different times. I'll back in a minute. Right, trims. Why do you need to fit them? Because they look cool. Basically, I'll give you a show, because I've already started just so I can do a Blue Peter moment. Here's one I prepared earlier. So there you go. There's your anthracite grey roofing trim. So all that does is really just pins down this edge and makes it look absolutely gorgeous. So, swing it back round. I have one over here which I'm presently preparing. So you'll get like a weather strip which goes, basically just sticks onto the back of it. You do that part. It's nice and simple. I like to get it done before I take it up there. Peel off the uber coat of debris. like that. And then on this side, you've got a protective cover as well. Now, take note of that, right? Can you see that? Read it. Caution, light fixing pins to centre off slots to allow for expansion. So basically, it comes pre-drilled holes. You notice they're like lengthways. So once you kind of get your nail, like this one, it'll sit right in the centre, okay? But what you don't want to do is you want to hammer that so far home that it completely pins it and locks it in place. You've got to allow it so it's got a bit of flex, okay? So theoretically, it's sort of just off of the surface a little bit, right? And what that does is, it allows this to expand and contract when it heats up and cools down. And that's all you do. So these are just lightly fixed. When you're fixed it and you're actually putting it on the top, so you can see the profile, like that. So obviously this part underneath with the rubber seal, that goes on top of the roof, and then the flappy bit sits up against this edge just here. So when you actually put it up there, you just push it down onto the surface a little bit, onto the roof, which you just compress that a little bit, like that. And basically, that'll make sure that no water comes through the other side of it. So that seals it up. So what I also like to do is, at this stage, while it's down here, it's a bit easier, and easier before you nail it, just take off the old protective front, like that. I'll do that in a second. I've got two hands. I'll take it off, I'll chuck it up there, and I'll show you exactly how I'll go about fitting it. So, first things first, before we actually fit it, we basically need to trim the excess off, all right? Now, there's a very easy way of doing this, and it's very simple. So, all I do is grab my trim, push it onto the surface, like that, and I just want a pencil mark underneath it, so I know exactly where I need to cut, right? I didn't get out of the way. And then I'll grab a pair of kick-ass decent scissors. And what I'll do is, I'll chop just above that line by about 10 centimetres, because you've got to allow for the fact that you've got like the weather strip, which is padding it up a little bit. So just cut about 10 mil above that line. That lot drops off, and then I can fit my trim. So, here's what I prepared there. So just so I could do the video, I've put the first one in there. I've done the first one down that end. So if you look here, you see, don't know if you can see it, but there's movement there. It can manoeuvre, it can do what it wants. But in order to fit these, pilot first. So, right, off the roof trying to show. Yeah, a tiny bit of compression, not a lot, just a little. Right, so going straight through the centre of there, not the left or the right bit. Straight in. Grab on your nails. Get it started. And give it a nice little tappy tap tap tap. As you get near the end, like I said, you start backing off the wax just to make sure you've still got a bit of movement, so I can still go a bit more. Try a bit more. Beautiful. And there it is, done. So you do it all the way across. And then what will happen is on the joint, you'll get fitted one of these bad boys. And all this literally does is, I'll slide this one down, it just slides over the end, where is it? Basically, it slides on, it just sits halfway over that one, which then joins onto the next one. When you're fitting these, top tip, make sure, see that bottom? Make sure the bottom is absolutely perfectly on. I fit them before, it's on one of them and not the other. And it's a bugger trying to get that tiny little bit to go back on again. So make sure it's on perfectly. So it goes fit to the fixed one first, and then the next one slides into that one. Done. And for the corners, so where these bits kind of meet here, you get these corner trim bits, literally, that'll just sit on the top like that. And all I do is super glue that. So a two-part adhesive, it's basically super glue with a speed doobie, but I'll only glue one side, so I'll probably just glue this side or this side. Again, just so this can move and have a bit of freedom inside it. So I'll glue this one, so that's fixed, and then that one can move in and around as it needs to. I think it's quite simple, isn't it? And it looks absolutely gorgeous once it's done, so yeah. So I'm going to finish this one, get those bits super glued on, and then at this far end, so I just got to do a tiny chop just to make that finished. Same at the other end, and then I'll put the gutter trim along the back as well. I'll show you how I do that in a bit. Alright, okay, the gutter trim. So, because it's two parts, you have this piece, which basically pins the rubber into position. So what's going to happen is, this is getting fit. So this is like the bit that other bit clips into. So you can see it's got like a little turn at the bottom, little clippy bit, and same at the top. So what will basically go on, just screw this straight into the fascia, It'll overhang like that. I run a knife or a pair of scissors and chop it so it's just kind of getting pinned. So it just cut the length of it. It's basically somewhere around here. So that when I get it in place and pin it, the bit that kind of comes up, it'll pin it underneath there like that, and the bottom pushes in and clips into that bottom return. Okay, so just run along though, keep it level with the surface of the roof, chuck a couple of screws in it, and then I'll go ahead and trim it to the right length, and then I shall show you that. So there you go, I just put the knife in and trimmed it. So I put the knife into that recess there and just run it all the way along. Beautiful. So what will happen is that bit, if I can get it to focus, the bit where it pokes into the bottom, that's kind of in a way at a minute, but it won't be because it pokes up first, which will drag it higher, which then gives me clearance to push it at the bottom. Now, I would film this part, but I can't. I need 2 hands to do it. So you'll have to use imagination, but essentially, I'll grab it on my knees. It's okay. I'm right, don't worry about it. I'm getting old now. Just grab this like it's up that way, and essentially you push that like that. You see what I mean? It pushes up, and that bottom will clip into there. Okay. That made it look simple. These could be quite troublesome sometimes, so I'll let you know how I get on in a minute. If I'm crying, you know it didn't go well. And that's all right. It wasn't bad at all. There you go. Look. So that's what it does. You can now see, and you can kind of see it in action now. So it gets pinned at the top like that. Now the retaining clip down there, it just clips into the bottom. So once you've got to get started, it's about pushing it, keep it pushing it in, push it up the top, and just give it a little whack as you go. But that's now that gut trim done. So now I'll go do the other side. Marvellous though. That was quick, wasn't it? For you. Right, guttering. Time for a bit of that. So what I do is, I stick the first one in at the furthest end and keep it quite high, this one, all right? Don't worry about it, I'm gonna pick up a corner joint tomorrow for that. But this, yeah, I put that up as high as I can get it in, quite merrily. Job is a good one, all right? So that one sits there. What I then do is I come down to the other end, and where I've got the gutter return down pipey bit, which is here, I then just set this lower, right about there, give or take, just somewhere so you know you've got to run it basically. So now all I've got to do is put clips in to hold the gutter in, okay? But it's kind of difficult to know the exact position of where they're going to sit in order for the gutter to sit in it level all the way through and be in contact, as opposed to one being up higher, lower than the other. So I've got a top trick. Give me a moment. On a trusty, what do you call it, string line from there. So it's tied it onto the bottom of that one. It now runs all the way through, down to the other end, exactly at the same position. So now what I need to do is grab some of my other clips. Say these two, for example, because they were here. And all I've got to do then is put that in, hold it up to just about touches the line, screw it in there, and I now know that my gutter sits perfectly across all of those because the line represents the bottom of the gutter. I do like it simple, isn't it? It's the simple solutions that are the best. So right, I'm going to clip those ones back on, put them on for the first time, finish the end piece, and I'll show you all finished. And voila, one lovely fitted gutter. Actually, saying that, one lovely fitted roof, isn't it? Beautiful, all the trim's done, looking nice. Happy boy, happy boy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump down and just temporarily connect the downpipe, just so that when it does rain, the water isn't splatting from like 2 meters up straight onto the floor and splashing everywhere, because it makes a bloody mess. So I'll go fit that temporarily, just so that the water can run down, hit the deck nicely, and then that's it. Have a little look around, see if I fancy starting another little job or not. I just tied the site up patch in a bit, but let's see what I get up to. Right, let's be back down here again. And something I just wanted to point out, that when you build these things to this kind of standard, this sort of quality, I've been running around that roof like a lunatic for the best part of 5-6 hours. And you'll notice, no cracks in the corners, nothing at all. Still absolutely solid, no problem at all. And that's because A, it's been built like a mother, and the second thing is that I put scrim tape in the corner, so you go back to the plastering and you see the scrim tape, which just helps prevent like movement and stuff. So you can go out there, you can walk around, you can do what you need to do, you can cut the tree, whatever. It's going to be absolutely fine. It will not damage the inside by any means at all. So there you go. Righty dokey. So there we go. Absolutely beautiful. Lovely, lovely. Love the anthracite grey on the white. That looks really pucker, that does. And then over here you can see trims looking absolutely lovely. Finish off these corners beautifully. signature trim there, done and dusted, so that bag cut, covered, absolutely spot on. Happy boys, that's the roof completely done. Gutting's on at the back now, as you know. So yeah, that's pretty sweet. So sort of had a bit of a clear up on the site, get rid of some crap. And then join me tomorrow when it will be, let me just think, decking day. So we're having a decking coming out. So it's gonna come out a metre from the building. Decking turned up earlier, so that's why I can crack on with it now. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I do like building that sort of thing. So digging a few holes, sticking some postcrete, putting some things across. Excellent, look forward to that. So if you like what you've seen, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, tell your mates, have a beer while you're watching it, chill out, you've earned it, you really have. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. In the meantime, have a nice evening.